Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital, and thank you so much for joining me in today's video. Let's dive into Bitcoin's price action in a bit more detail. We've been covering this sort of price action and the historical retracement dips that we tend to see in the month of August. And historically, we've seen a lot of volatility across August years, or at least months, but we have to look at the particular August years in a bit more detail because in 2015 we saw a pre-halving year occur, and also in 2019 a pre-halving year occur as well. So 4% in 2019 downside in August 2019, and in 2015 we saw an 18% downside, and this is where these figures essentially come from. But what also ties in with these figures is, of course, the 4-year cycle, candle 3 being the pre-halving year. So 2023 resembles 2019 in that respect, and 2015 in that respect as well. Candle 3 being the pre-halving bottoming out candle, where we finally bottom out after a candle 2, which is the bear market. Every time we see a bear market retracement, we then bottom out in a candle 3, bear market retracement, and then bottoming out and recovery, essentially speaking. But if we look at these price points and this retracement across pre-halving August, we also can see a bearish divergence form here on Bitcoin, and that's what this video is going to be about today. We're going to be talking about whether Bitcoin is forming a double top. And for Bitcoin to form a double top here, we have to see a M-shaped formation take place, and this is the first part of the M, and this would be the second part of the M. And an M, when we see a M form, that's essentially a double top, one top here and another top here, and that forms an M-shaped, M for murder being the mantra for double tops. And the validation point for that double top to play out and see additional downside is to lose this base here, so the base of that letter M. And as we can see here, we're potentially just forming the second part of that M shape. Not quite forming it yet, but struggling here at that 29,250 resistance. And this video is going to be very much about how we can break down from this 26 region right over here, the base of that M, losing this level 26,000 as a support would enable further downside. So long-winded introduction, let's dive into the video. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and like the video if you like content like this going forward. But if we just compare this part of the M shape, the double top, which is 90 days long, so essentially 3 months roughly speaking, and if we see symmetry here, and M-shaped formations and generally formations and just like to be quite symmetrical and mirror each other. So if this is going to be the case with this part of the M, then a 3-month second part of this M could form, which if that's to be the case and 29,250 continues to act as a resistance, that's going to prompt further downside and just slow bleeding into that 90-day mark, which would be around next month, mid-September, roughly speaking. So far we've been through 90 or at least 56 days through the 90 already. So if we're going to see a mirroring, then we've got around a month left, just over a month left until we find completion in this double top, should it reach 26K for a validation test. And the way to measure a double top breakdown, should we indeed see this part of the M complete, is to measure the top of the double top against the base of the double top and just propagate that target in that way, measuring the target from 26K, the base of that double top, and then propagating it into 22K, which gives us much more of a deeper retrace than what we see in typical August pre-halving months put into this current candle 3, because a 24K retracement would also actually see us retest the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders that we saw break out earlier in this year, but also 2022. So a retest of this level as a new support would essentially give us all that confirmation that this breakout pattern has been fully validated and confirmed, which should actually enable further upside. So interesting enough to see that 24K with an 18% retrace, which would be historically pretty normal for a August year in a pre-halving year. That would be normal, but what we're seeing here in terms of the double top target is that we could actually see a much deeper retrace into 22K. So just $1,000 or so more lower than the inverse head and shoulders target. So this would be where potentially we could bottom. But in the next video, tomorrow or after tomorrow, I'll be talking about how this double top might not actually play out, because it has to reach 26K and lose this level via a weekly candle close below 26K to turn this old support into a new resistance before rejecting lower. If we don't see that, then we won't see this double top play out. And of course, in the first instance, we need to actually see additional drawdown. So 29,250 has to flip into a confirmed resistance just to see a bit more drawdown into the 26K region. But there's also a potential that if we just propagate a higher low here, then we could see a sort of sideways channel developing potentially. So this double top doesn't necessarily have to form. It could actually form into something else, especially if we see a higher low form here. Could it be a reaccumulation pattern of some sort? Could we actually see a rising wedge maybe even develop, which is also a bearish pattern, but we'd play it differently as crypto traders to try and play a rising wedge a bit differently compared to playing a double top. But in any case, we'll be talking about that in the future video. That's about it for today's double top video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe and of course like this video if you'd like to see more content like this going forward. I'm Rekt Capital and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.